All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash True Inferno. Back with another throwback tunes on another Thursday. This is the last Thursday of the month of April. Yes. So we are going to end it with another, I guess we could call him a West Coast rapper, since he do currently live out there in Cali. And that is Xzibit with his third album. His third studio album rather, by the name of Restless. So this joint came out December 12th of the year 2000. Wow, I was in high school back then. But yeah, this joint came out under Open Bar Records, Loud Records, SRC Records, and Epic Records as well. Or really not Open Bar Records, that's the Open Bar Entertainment actually. And the producers involved with this album were Dr. Dre, who was also the executive producer, Battle Cat, DJ Quick, Eminem, Rick Rock, not Rick Ross, Rick Rock, Eric Summit, Rock Wilder, Mailman, M-E-L, then you know the subtraction line, Mailman, Knots with a Z, Scott Scorch, Sir Jinx, Superfly, S-O-O-P-A, and then Fly. Oh guys, this last one, I'm gonna butcher this last one. Daoud Arzar. Hopefully I said that correctly. And let me double check and see if I get, yeah, I did get all the producers involved here. Okay, so yeah, there you go with that. So there's 16 tracks in this album. Now let me give you guys some charts real quick. So this joint was 12th on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the top R&B/hip-hop albums chart. So that was pretty good actually. So, oh, here we got some more charts though. It was 53rd out in Australia, 21st in Germany, 28th in the Netherlands, 30th in New Zealand, 40th in Switzerland, 27th in the UK. It sold about 1 million copies in the US, so it was platinum by the RIAA and the MC certifications, and it was gold by the BPI. So, in terms of sales and certifications, this was Xzibit's best album, and actually this was the only Xzibit album that I own. I actually got a physical copy of this album, and we'll talk about that later, obviously. I'm looking at the rest of his charts. Like, the only one I would probably say have a better album in terms of charts only was his next one, which he released rather 2 years later, called Man vs. Machine. I never heard that one, so apparently it might be good. So yeah, let's get back to Restless though. So again, there's 16 tracks on this album. There's 3 singles, and the good thing about this is there's only one skit, and that's the intro. So I can give you guys a top 5, not a top 3. So the first track is called Restless, which is the intro. In parentheses, it says intro. Followed by one of his 3 singles, his second single actually, Front to Back, the number 2, Front to Back. Then we got, and actually that's the main reason why I got this album, because of that song right there. We get more on that later. Track number 3 is called Been a Long Time, featuring Nate Dogg. Followed by You Know, featuring Dr. Dre, You as in the letter U. Track number 5 is actually the first single released for this album, called X, featuring, well, let me rephrase it again, quote unquote featuring Snoop Dogg. I'll explain that later. Track number 6 is called Alcoholic, and this is a different spelling here. It's A-L-K-A-H-O-L-I-K, featuring Eric Summit, J-Ro, and Tash, T-A-S-H. And then next up we got the Kenny Parker Show 2001. That's the actual track for track number 7, featuring KRS-One. Followed by DNA, which stands for drugs and the letter N. Alcohol, A-L-K-A-H-O-L, excuse me, featuring Snoop Dogg. Track number 9, excuse me, called Double Time. Followed by Don't Approach Me, featuring Eminem. Track number 11 is called Rims and Tires, both N and a Z. You know, Rims, R-I-M-Z, Tires, T-I-R-E-Z, featuring Defari, Goldilocks, and Cocaine, K-O-K-A-N-E. Then track number 12 is called Fucking You Right, without the G apostrophe at the end of fucking. And then, but you as in Y-O-U, shocker there. Track number 13 is called Best of Things, followed by the third single of this album, Get Your Walk On. Track number 15, excuse me, called Sorry I'm Arrayed So Much, featuring DJ Quick and Sugar Free. And then the last track off this album called Loud and Clear, featuring Defari, again, King T, and Butch Cassidy. What happened to that guy? What happened to Butch Cassidy? But anywho, let's move on to his first single, which is called X. So the song sampled the line, Not These Niggas Again, from Eminem's Bitch Please 2. which is featured on Eminem's album, the Marshall Mathers LP. I believe I reviewed that album, I don't remember. And there is a music video for this one. So obviously, we got cameo from Dr. Dre, RZA, Method Man. Oh dang, I just saw that video. I didn't even spot them. And Snoop Dogg. So obviously X was doing his thing. And then, like I said, at the end of the song, here's why I put a parenthesis over featuring Snoop Dogg part, because at the end of the song, Snoop Dogg was talking. Like, he wasn't rapping, he was talking. That's why I'm like, featuring Snoop Dogg? I don't know about that. But yeah. But let's look at the charts though. So this joint was 19th out in Austria, 39th in the Flanders charts, 32nd in the Wallonian charts, both from Belgium, obviously. Belgium off the top, 50. 73rd out in France, 18th in the Netherlands, 42nd in Sweden, 5th in Switzerland, 14th in the UK singles, 5th in the UK R&B, 76th in the US Billboard Hot 100, 32nd in the US Hot R&B / Hip Hop Songs charts, and 36th in the US Rap Songs charts. So I seen this video and I thought it was okay. Now let's move on. And yeah, I said this. Oh no, I didn't even give you a date. This joint came out November 28th of the year 2000. My bad. Now let's move on to the second single, which is called Front to Back. So this joint came out December 12th of the year 2000. And yes, there is a music video for this one. We got cameo appearances by Corrupt, Raz, Cash, and the producer Rock Router, I believe. He did produce this track as well. This is the song that made me go, oh snap, I like this. I'm about to go pick up this album. Looking at and there's a music video for this. Yeah, I did mention that. And looking at the charts, it was 65th on the US Billboard Hot R&B / Hip Hop Singles and Tracks, and 42nd on the US Billboard Hot Rap Singles. This one should have done better in the charts, because this one is a really good track right here. Now, the third and final single off this album, I didn't know there was a third single till now, and that is called Get Your Walk On. So, and there is a music video for this as well. There is a music video as well. But yeah, it did not make the charts. This one came out January 8th, 2001. So, let me give you guys my favorite tracks off this album from worst to first. All right. Worst track writer off this album is Kenny Parker Show 2001. Yes, I know it featured KRS-One and the lyricism there actually dope. But the drums are cool. The melody was just okay. You know, it was really all about the beat for the most part. The track was just straight. So I ain't saying it was terrible. I ain't saying it was awful. It was just straight. And when you compare that to the other tracks, yeah, this is the worst one off this album. Moving on. Get Your Walk On. Should have used a different snare. The horns were okay. The melody at the hook is decent. And it's a bit bassy, which is good. The track is cool. Don't Approach Me. The kick is cool. Should have used a different snare. The melody is cool. Should have used more bass. The track is cool. Loud and Clear. This has potential here, because if they would have made it more bassy and used a harder snare, this would have climbed up my list in terms of the best tracks off this album. It would have been really, really dope. It would have been really, really hard. So yeah, made it more bassy, get a harder snare, would have made this track better. But the kick is cool, the melody is cool, the track is cool as is. Best of things, melody was cool here, especially with the hook. I really like the melody they used with the hook. Really like the kick. Should have used a different snare though. I like the bass. The track is overall pretty cool. Sorry I'm Erased So Much. The bass made this track. This bass, though, I was like, oh my gosh, this bass. I like the kick. Maybe I'm a little iffy on this one, but maybe should have used a different snare. I like the percussions though. The piano is bland. They could have do without, in my opinion. But the melody outside the piano was cool though. The track is pretty cool. X is the next best track off this album. Should have used a different snare here. I like the kick though. The melody was cool. And the track was just cool. So yeah, there you go with that. And then we got Been a Long Time. The bass is decent. Which of us longer per line and per bar. But I like the snaps. The snaps are cool here. The melody is cool. The track is cool. And then we got Fucking You Right. The melody sounds goofy, I will admit. It really, really do. It sounds goofy as heck. But I really like the drums. I like the tempo though. The track is really cool. And then we got Rims and Tires. It is bassy. I like the snare here. I like the tempo. The track is really cool. Now I'm about to give you guys my top 5 tracks off this album. Fifth best track off this album is DNA, Drugs, and Alcohol. This one have a lot of potential, especially at the start. If you would have heard the start of this track, you would have been like, oh man, this is about to be hard. But as the track continues, it's like, I thought it was gonna be more than this. I will admit. Like the melody could do without that high. It's like this higher pitch noise there with a part of the melody. Like this track could do without it or use something different. They should have made it more bassy and maybe use a different snare, like a harder snare. But yeah, this track is hard as is, but it could be much harder. And the track is really cool. It could have been the best track off this album, but you know, it's really cool as is though. The other best track off this album is Alcoholic. The track bangs, man. That bass line is dope. Maybe should have used a different snare. The melody is cool. And when you hear this, obviously Eric Summin produced this track, and the track is really cool, man. So there you go with that. The best track off this album is Double Time. I like the tempo here. Really like the snare. Really like the melody. This track is really cool. And then the second best track off this album is You Know. I really like the snare here. This joint bangs. Really like that bass line that they use. The melody is really cool too. Overall, the track is really cool. And of course, without question, again, I mentioned this already. The main reason why I got this track, this album rather, is because of this track, this single. The #1 track off this album, Front to Back. This is a really dope song. The beat bangs due to the kick. I really like the drums and the melody. Without question, Front to Back is the best track off this album, but barely though. But barely, because there's, like I said, there's 2 other tracks on here that have a lot of potential. And if they would have, went with the suggestions that I made just now, I don't know if Front to Back would have been the best track off this album. But yeah, there you go. It is though. All right, let's look at some professional ratings. So it got a lot actually. Metacritic gave it a 75 out of 100. AllMusic gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Entertainment Weekly gave it a B+. Hip Hop DX gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. NME gave it a 7 out of 10. Rap Reviews gave it a 9 out of 10. Robert Chris Gall gave it 2 stars out of what? I have no clue. Out of 4, out of 3, out of 5, out of 10, out of 100. I don't know. Rolling Stones gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The Source gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Spin gave it a 6 out of 10. And Vibe gave it a 4 out of 10. So basically, yeah, there you go with that. And what do I think about this album? Well, before I get to what I think about this album, there's one more thing I wanted to mention as well. The album sold 205,000 copies in its first week when it was released, which is pretty crazy. All right, so now, what do I think about this album? So, Front to Back, I really like that song. It's the main reason why I got this album. Everything else is either really cool or just cool for the most part. This is a solid album. I'm gonna give this a 3.75 out of 5. I recommend you download it and you keep it. So 3.75 out of 5 stars. It's a solid album. There's a lot of good tracks in here. Every track in here is at least straight or higher. And there's so much potential here. So this is a solid album. I recommend you download it and you keep it. 3.75 out of 5 stars. That's my rating for this album. So with that said, y'all know who this is. This is your boy, the new Jay Gatsby, aka the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.